Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm really glad you're here today because this is one of those stories that makes you think about what it really takes to stay relevant in an industry that's constantly changing. Today, we're diving into the life and career of Jude Law, an actor who didn't just rise to fame, but kept reinventing himself over time. Now, let me ask you something. What do you think matters more in a long career? Talent, timing, or the ability to adapt? Because Jude Law's journey is a mix of all three. He was born in London in 1972 and grew up in a household that valued education and creativity. But what really stands out is how early he committed to acting. As a teenager, he joined the National Youth Music Theatre and quickly realized that this wasn't just a hobby, it was what he wanted to do with his life. And here's something bold. He left school at just 17 to pursue acting full-time. Now think about that for a second. Would you walk away from a traditional path to chase something uncertain? No guarantee of success, no clear roadmap, just belief in your passion. That decision alone says a lot. He started out in theater, performing on stage in London, and eventually on Broadway. These early years weren't about fame. They were about building skill, discipline, and confidence. And it makes you wonder, how important is it to master the basics before chasing big success? Because for Jude Law, those stage performances laid the foundation for everything that came next. His big breakthrough came in 1999 with the talented Mr. Ripley. This was the moment that changed everything. His performance earned him critical acclaim and major award nominations, and suddenly, he was on the global stage. Imagine going from working actor to international recognition almost overnight. Do you think that kind of success would feel exciting or overwhelming? Because when fame arrives quickly, it doesn't just bring opportunities, it brings expectations. In the early 2000s, Jude Law became one of the most sought-after actors in Hollywood. He starred in films like Cold Mountain, earning an Academy Award nomination, and Road to Perdition, where he held his own alongside legendary actors. At that point, everything seemed to be going perfectly. But here's where things get interesting. He wasn't just taking on one type of role. He moved between romantic films, intense dramas, and even experimental projects. Movies like The Holiday showed a softer, more charming side, while other roles pushed him into darker, more complex territory. So let me ask you this. Do you think versatility is what keeps an actor relevant, or can it sometimes make it harder for audiences to define them? Because while his range was impressive, it also meant he wasn't easily boxed into one category. And then came a different kind of challenge. As his fame grew, so did public attention on his personal life. Suddenly, headlines weren't just about his performances, they were about his relationships, his choices, his mistakes. And this brings up a deeper question. How much does public perception affect someone's career? Because for a while, it seemed like the focus shifted away from his work. But instead of fading out, Jude Law did something important. He adapted. He started choosing roles more carefully, leaning into characters that showed depth and maturity. He stepped into major franchises, playing Dr. Watson in Sherlock Holmes alongside Robert Downey Jr., bringing a fresh take to a classic character. Now think about that shift from independent films to global blockbusters. Do you think actors make those choices for creative reasons or because they understand the industry is changing? Because in today's world, staying relevant often means finding that balance. He later joined the Marvel Universe in Captain Marvel and also took on the role of a younger Albus Dumbledore in the Fantastic Beasts series. And here's something interesting, even after decades in the industry, he was still exploring new kinds of roles. That says a lot about mindset. But one of his most powerful performances came on television in The Young Pope. This role was complex, controversial, and completely different from what audiences were used to seeing from him. It showed a more layered, unpredictable side of his acting. And it raises an important question. Do you think taking risks later in your career is more difficult or more important? Because by that point, he had already proven himself. He didn't need to take risks, but he chose to. Over the years, Jude Law has continued to evolve, moving between film, television, and different genres with ease. He's played heroes, villains, historical figures, and everything in between. And maybe that's the real reason he's lasted so long in such a competitive industry. He didn't stay the same. He changed. So here's something I want you to really think about. Is success about reaching a certain level or about continuing to grow after you get there? Because a lot of people achieve success once, but staying relevant? That's a completely different challenge. Jude Law's story isn't just about fame or talent. It's about resilience, adaptability, and understanding when to evolve. It's about knowing that even when things don't go perfectly, you can still move forward. And maybe the biggest takeaway is this: you don't have to follow one path forever. You can change direction. You can take risks. You can reinvent yourself. Thanks so much for watching and spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life and career of Jude Law, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who loves movies and storytelling, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more content like this. I'll see you in the next one.